All right, so today we're jumping into a really cool historical detective story. We're not looking at a modern crime scene, nope. We're diving into a puzzle from America's industrial past, all centered on one massive, crucial object that has just completely vanished. It's a pretty deep question, right? When a physical piece of a community's past just disappears, it leaves this hole in the story. So let's see what it takes to fill that hole by investigating the very real case of a missing millstone in Batavia, New York. So before we go any further, let's get on the same page about what we're even looking for. A millstone wasn't just some big rock. For its time, this was high technology. This huge, carefully crafted stone wheel was literally the engine of towns like Batavia. I mean, it ground the grain that fed everybody, and it drove the entire local economy. It was the heart of the community for real. And that brings us to the first part of our investigation. We're going to focus on the victim in our case, because this isn't just a missing object, it's a whole vanished engine of production. I want you to just picture Batavia in the 19th century. It's this bustling hub of activity, totally powered by rivers and just sheer hard work. And right at the center of it all, the mills. They were the town's heartbeat. But one of the very things that made them run, a millstone, is now gone. And that's left a real mystery for historians to puzzle over. I love this quote from our source because it totally reframes the whole thing. It tells us that these weren't just simple tools, they were the very engines of production. So losing one wasn't like misplacing a hammer. No way. It was like a modern factory losing its main assembly line. A huge deal. Okay, so how on earth do you even start to solve a mystery that's over a century old? It takes a very special kind of detective work. You're not looking for fingerprints, but for these faint echoes left behind in old records. And there's actually a name for this, industrial archaeology. You can basically think of it as being a CSI for history. Historians piece together all these little fragments of evidence from all kinds of places to reconstruct what happened to the technology and, the people of an era that's long gone. And here's the playbook. This is how they do it. First, you hit the paper trail. You're digging through old mill records and property deeds. Then you pull out the historical maps to see where everything was. After that, you're deep diving into newspaper archives, looking for any mention of fires or big upgrades. You even talk to people, collecting local stories and lore passed down for generations. And finally, you get your hands dirty, actually inspecting old foundations and buildings for clues. Every single step adds another piece to the puzzle. So once you've gathered all the clues, it's time to think about motive. What could have possibly happened to our millstone? In a case like this, we've got a few usual suspects, the most likely reasons it disappeared off the map. Suspect number one is almost always the main culprit in these cases, new technology. The whole industry just went through this massive shift. The old way, heavy, slow stone grinding, got completely replaced by modern, super efficient, and fast metal roller mills. And old millstone just couldn't keep up. It became yesterday's tech, plain and simple. But it's not always about being obsolete. There are some other really strong possibilities. These things were heavy and incredibly durable, so they often got repurposed. You might find one used as a cool patio stone, or even built into the foundation of a new building. Or maybe the mill burned down or got demolished. If that happened, its valuable parts could have been salvaged and sold for scrap. And then there's the long shot. It could have been a pure accident, lost in a big flood, now just sitting at the bottom of a river waiting to be found. So after all this detective work, you kind of have to ask yourself, what's the real point of all this? The search might not end with some big, dramatic discovery. The real value, it turns out, is in the search itself, and what it teaches us about a puzzle that might be hidden in plain sight all along. And this, right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. This isn't a true crime story. The real goal is to meticulously, piece by tiny piece, reconstruct the story of a community, to really understand how it worked, how it grew, and what it was built on. And that's why this stuff matters. The search for this one object, this one missing millstone, it connects us directly to the incredible physical effort, the ingenuity, and the economic lifeblood that literally built a town like Batavia from the ground up. It makes history feel real, tangible. Which leaves us with one final thought. The story of Batavia's millstone, well, it isn't unique. Every single town, every city has its own missing pieces and hidden histories. So the real question is, what piece of your history is out there just waiting to be rediscovered, hiding in plain sight?